Harshit.
You've taken me off guard, but anyhow, hello and welcome
At
to.
all time.
Yeah,
You're fielding, the match is happening.
yeah.
We're all fielders.
You can't be Internet Explorer. If that reacts late.
Given how systems have been behaving today, so that you know
Exactly.
what to expect.
But if you're a fielder, you got to be ready for the ball to come. You can't say I've been fielding here in the deep and the ball hasn't come for 20 deliveries. Suddenly a catch has come, I've dropped it. Doesn't matter. Be ready. What is it? Where are we? What are we doing? What is it?
Business as usual. We're here on time. Are we? Yeah, we are. So yeah, as usual, just another edition of the Dugout. The series is on.
As
Plenty
usual,
to.
we are on time or as usual another edition?
As usual, another edition. It's an anomaly that we are on time.
More or less.
Why are we kulhadifying our own pair here with this?
It's called being self-deprecating.
Self-deprecating.
Yeah.
people,
See if you can take.
Honest as well. As simple as that.
Why are we going to pretend that we're this very punctual lot?
We can ignore in that
This while I
sense.
didn't have my mic on. Yet,
Yet by the way, my test was
someone has
fine.
not told me that.
My mic test was fine, everything was fine. Amazing. I must have some superpower.
Yep, ventriloquist throwing your voice
Yeah.
in that sense. Yeah, so
Yes,
continue
Harshit,
for
But the audio levels may be fine, even though it wasn't supposed to be in the first place. But talking about one
It was
aspect.
supposed to be fine in the first place. It was not fine because it wasn't turned on.
You
Yeah,
should
Yeah.
not have caught him off guard.
I know. He's
Yeah.
now making.
Totally.
He's like intellectual loading.
No, I wanted to because if I had probably told Shane, he would have gone straight. If I had told Siddharth, it would have gone straight. But I purposely said it, Harshit, because
I can
You're a
set the
slow fielder.
no, he's a dreamer. In fielding, especially in like corporate level cricket, it happened. Like professional cricketers are always tuned in. They've learned the art of even in a test match, 90 overs, every ball you're concentrating because one minor mistake changes a test match. In our corporate level, you're very used to it. They get one or two drop, doesn't matter, a bit of misfield here and there. So there also some are very serious. They're always aware, looking at every ball. Some, if they're fielding that's in the deep, some 5 overs have gone by without a single ball coming.
They're asleep.
They are in their thoughts. Dreaming.
Is this coming from the match you just came from?
There were a lot of drop catches. I did not drop any. Or misfielded any. Because I'm not a dreamer. If I'm there, I'm clued into every delivery while fielding.
But
Because
I think
enjoy it.
as cricket fans, we're all dreamers. We dreamt of certain things to happen on
No,
the
no.
19th of
The
November. They
personality.
did.
The personality.
How could you play in abominable conditions today? I don't know.
Today was a horrible match. I'll be very honest. We started the match, and as is the norm, like we were fielding, and when I see usually the openers or 2-3 top batters are the best batters, so you have an idea how the team. When I saw the batters, it's not how much runs they get. When you see the first 2-3 balls that they face, I know what team we are playing against, and my first reaction was, "This is a halki team, a boring match hai. They're not going to do much." And then with their limitations, I'll say it's not that we were surprised that some outstanding players came, but with their limitation, they were effective and got on to a
189 or something?
par total, which was a par total. But with like whatever limitation, they did not lose it, batted sensibly, did not have any fluent, outstanding, hitters that we sometimes come across. None of that was there. But here and there, boundaries here and there, few misfieldings, this, that, they reached 189 also, which I thought was no. Our batting.
Mr. Reliable.
Scorecard.
Mr. Reliable also failed this time.
It was pathetic.
Who's Mr. Reliable?
It was pathetic.
Akash.
But I'll tell you what, I went a little late because I was to go at the start and then I had to do an interview. And so then that delayed. But when I went, because I hadn't seen, by the time 3-4 wickets had fallen, so I hadn't seen a single because I was doing the interview. As soon as I finished, I padded up and a wicket fell, I just went. So I didn't even know which over it was, what the score was. So I went in and asked, this is 3 down, 4 down, something like that. In the 8th over, I said, how many runs? I said, run a ball, we need thoda more. I said, okay, let's see. First ball I hit for 4. I was like, man, this bowling and they're 4 down. Like this bowling today, I'm batting 20 overs. If I get out 20 overs se pehle, shame on me. I said it to myself, like after that. Next ball came, again I almost hit for 4. It was fielded at the boundary, I got a single. I was like, today is a good day. Over got over. Today is a good day. I'm going to bat full 20 overs. We will win the match. All of that dreamer. I had started that.
Third ball.
No, then the over changed or whatever. My spinner came. I don't fear spinners. First ball, lollipop, and my eyes just lit up. And I knew where I had to hit the four. It's my area. I knew that's where I'm going to hit. That's where I attempted to hit. The ball came so slow that instead of going there, it just went further ahead to the fielder. And I was like, how did the ball go there? It should have gone to that place where I wanted it to hit. This is my bread and butter. Out like that, apparently everyone else has gotten it. Got like that. I can't tell you.
Slow
I would
bowling.
kick myself out of it. Today was the day.
And was he a left armer?
No, off spinner, lollipop off spinner. Lollipop off spinner. First ball, my eyes lit up. And I knew the gap was, and I'll hit there. But it came a bit slow. So imagine if I'm hitting it here, cover, I was through, and it went straight.
Well,
are you gonna?
So now I would like to appreciate. What's his full name? What Chopra is he?
Akash?
No,
Vidu? Agniveer.
So my people keep complaining this bowling, that bowling. Point is, runs are runs. Doesn't matter what is the bowling attack, what is the situation. A batter has to score run and then talk. Good bowling, bad bowling does not matter. Like, how does it matter? At the end of the day, it will score 5 runs on my scorecard. It will not show that I had decided today in 80s for that taking. Like I thought minimum 60, 70, so today nowhere. No chance I'm getting.
And one thing I've seen in what limited experience I've had playing here since joining is that more often than not, you do the basics right and it can be a problem. None of us are great players.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
So,
but you can assess it, right? You know the bowler, you know the ground, and you know. So some days you know that okay, I'll have to really be at top of my game to score runs today. It's a good bowling attack, or maybe the ball is doing something. So today I have to be on top of my game. I'll be lucky if I get a good 30, 40. You know that. And then some days you're like, oh man, today is a party. It is a party. End of the day, doesn't matter. Is that what the Indian team did?
That is exactly. See, looking at the way
Hyderabad party, dry pitch.
Yeah.
All the bowlers need to do is pitch the ball.
Pitch the ball and that's it.
That didn't happen.
They did get one full day to party. The 5th day.
But I'm saying before the match.
They partied.
Okay, Harshit.
Continue. Interlude
What is
now.
the
Continue
show?
the dream.
Dugout. Whatever.
Yeah, now that story is over. And in case you're wondering what this is all about, well, we're trying to get to, again, Nikhil didn't face any pitch issues today, but here on this edition of the Dugout, we're here to try and get to you whatever little information firstly that we have off the pitch over there, but also let's say from an Indian team standpoint, just try and get to understand what the psyche and what the philosophy, let's say, could be going forward, or what the strategy could be for this Indian team. We've seen in the past a couple of times where India have been pegged back being the home team, and then you've seen surfaces change going forward in the series. Now that India have conceded in the first test match, are we now looking at all over again the same script where the pitches or the nature of the pitch could not be altered? If it does get altered, to what extent? Are you expecting rank turners? Are you expecting exactly the wicket that you saw? Do you then go back on the philosophy, maybe prepare a feather bed, but there's points at stake? So all of these permutation combinations, all of these theories doing the rounds, we'll try and get to and try and find the answer. If at all, India do need to make changes. If yes, what those changes could be. If not, why not? And we're all here to present our case.
Two series I remember at home where you went 1-0 down after the first test in recent history. One was incidentally, ironically, against England. 2020-21, where you offered up a sporting deck, ended up losing on that sporting deck, and we know what happened afterwards. Series after before that, which I remember this happening, Australia 17. They came here, you offered up a Gadda first up,
Pune.
you lost, and then what happened? You can change. You made more.
It's interesting because again, while we were talking about this subject, and we've been talking about it for a while now, and of course those arguments will be presented again. It's an interesting comparison. Let's say that series, of course, when you think of such times, again, not too many times does India get pegged back at home in a test series, that to the first test. It's happened a couple of times against the same opposition once, and yes, of course, against Australia. It's interesting the two series though, how they panned out, because yes, of course, it did give India the result that they wanted. But I think over there, what we saw against England a couple of years back, Could be exactly what you see again, but just comparing those two series, I don't think the alteration was that much in 17. Again, you didn't have the World Test Championship, and again, I don't think the deviation was as much as you saw in 21.
No, in 17, see, your first pitch, Pune was
yes.
Okay, let's be fair. After that, you had what, Bangalore?
Yeah, Bangalore.
Bangalore, I don't think.
See, there was Bangalore, there was Ranchi, there was Dharamshala.
Now, again, if you go by.
But there was a big change at the pitch.
Yeah.
But was it as big? My question is, was it as big as what we saw in 21?
Yes, it was as big, only thing it went the other way.
Correct.
There you prepared a gadda and you changed it to a typical Indian pitch from there on. Here, the England series 2021, exactly the opposite, where you started with a goodish pitch and then started preparing gadda. So the opposite happened, but it did happen.
And then if you're looking
But I'm conflicted in, let's say, the degree of it, because again, it was more than
that we won't know exactly to what degree. I'm saying at a macro level.
I'm not saying as layman, let's say, whatever I saw on the
so
television screen, it was more than evident, let's say, what we saw against England. But against Australia, was it that evident and obvious?
It was clearly.
Bangalore was the second test, right?
Yeah.
It was still a spinning track, but it was a traditional spinning track.
It kept
Yes.
low.
It kept low turn, but it wasn't a rank turner.
Yeah.
Thereafter, I think you had Ranchi,
Which was a feather bed.
Yeah, that was the road.
Exactly my point. What you saw in Ahmedabad and then the second test match in Chennai was just contrary to whatever you would have expected.
But I'm just saying, again, feather bed to rank turner. It's opposite.
Amount of change is the same, just that it's changed the other way around.
You can also look back to 2012. England.
England.
You remember Ahmedabad was a typical subcontinent deck where you are done away with left arm spin and reverse swing. Mumbai was a rank turner.
Which it tends to be at times, really, in tests.
Exactly. Third, Kolkata was a flat deck. Nagpur was a featherbed. So, whenever you have dished up all these kinds of permutations and combinations, you have fallen trapped to it all the three times. 2012, 2017,
No,
2021.
but the remaining times you won.
Except 2012.
Yeah, except 2012,
Except
every
2012.
time else you won.
In fact, actually going by your logic, Siddharth, it's interesting you mentioned that, when you play out permutations, combinations, takes me back to that 2005 series against Australia at home.
Yeah.
You served up absolute seeming track in Nagpur.
Yes.
And against an Australia side that had come very well prepared, and you gave
But
them
those circumstances were very different.
I know.
That wasn't done to win or lose. I mean, that was actually done to ensure that you lose the series.
Yeah, it was political.
I think that, you wouldn't do it. But the fact that you can gauge from here is that if you take that 2017 Australia series, 2021 England series, what you know that if you've lost the first test, one thing is certain that you'll see a drastic change in the nature of pitch.
Yeah.
Australia, it happened the other way around. England, it was the opposite of that, but you have changed. And what has happened? Both times you've then gotten success. So if you keep that in mind, then there is a good chance that you will see a drastic change in this series as well, because those two drastic changes have worked for you.
In fact, micro level, but last year's Border Gavaskar, you lost on the gaddest of gaddas in Indore. And then knowing full well that the series was sealed and your result for WTC was sealed, you went the other side. You put up an absolute feather bed at Ahmedabad where everyone was getting hundreds for fun.
Yeah.
That's the problem. See, again, what will be the nature of the Vizag wicket? Even Vikram Rathod, the batting coach who had come for the press conference today, he said, see, I've been involved in cricket for 35 to 40 years. Even if you ask me what the nature of the wicket is, it's a very difficult question to answer.
He gives very interesting answers, I'll give him that.
But he
Like what? There were other interesting
No, I
answers.
say interesting as well as sarcastic because he's probably one of the more dry people to come to press conferences.
Yes.
But him and a couple of others who then made to go for these pressers when you actually expect somebody with more authority to be coming.
He'll come tomorrow.
Yeah, but this is exactly what you get, those statesman-like answers, politically correct.
So he's
exactly.
What else do you expect? The whoever comes from,
I know.
I'm not saying whether it should be X, Y, Z, whatever, but whoever came, even Rahul Dravid came last time around, he was asked the pitch, he said, no, it looks right, but I can't say anything.
Same
now.
thing.
So who is going to tell you how the pitch is going to be, even though they may know how the pitch is?
Oh, 100%.
They will know. He said it may not turn from day one onwards. It may not turn. Maybe afterwards it will start to turn.
No, I do buy that.
No way.
No way.
I'm saying when the both examples that we've given before, whatever pitch you made and you fell short and you went 1-0 down, you completely changed. So there is a good chance, and by good I mean like a 90% chance, that you're going to go 360 degree the other way.
Yeah.
Which is going to be from a dry, slow pitch, which kind of got better for batting towards the second half, minus the Indian batting. But that's not going to happen. So I think you will get the pitches where England were in 6s and 7s last time when they.
Yeah. Look, experience will count. See, England know that they'll be dished up with a absolute rank turner. They lost 3-1 last time around. Why doesn't India surprise them and prepare a kind of a wicket that aids their strengths?
Huh?
What is
Why?
this?
That's the problem. You are a scared nation who doesn't know what are your strengths. That's what playing in post-COVID on these kind of wickets has done to your psyche at this point in time. Skill-wise, no problem. The Indian bowlers will toil. Jadeja and Ashwin used to toil. Pre-COVID used to bowl at 30-40 overs, they would take wickets. But now, they expect to run through opponents on dust bowls, and look what has that done to you. On a flat deck, if you give, England will score like how they did in Pakistan.
700 runs in a day.
So, but you are still saying give those kind of decks?
Because you have fallen foul to that 3 times. 2012, 2016, 2021.
No, but against the same opposition, albeit they were playing differently, and we'll get to it. That was pre-Basball. 2021, you gave him a good pitch, you lost, you changed him, and you won. But so why would you not follow that same?
But then you won. I'm not counting Chennai because that was rescued by Ravichandran Ashwin's century. But in Ahmedabad, you just hung around by the skin of your teeth. It needed a Rohit 60 to bail you out in the fag end.
But you won.
Somehow, some way you won.
I don't know if giving flat tracks would be the right thing. I think you will have to go to those turning tracks. Having said that, you have to give credit to England who've come prepared. Now, we know that they had the camp in UAE, in Dubai. And I went to Dubai, I did a report which you can still see on Sports Today, where I actually looked at that academy where each of the pitch that they've got based on what you're going to get. So they've gotten soil from that place. Actually, those are drop-in pitches. So Adelaide is an Adelaide pitch. Then you can have Karachi, you can have Eden Gardens, you have all of that next to each other. Different kinds of Headingley, whatever, all types of pitches, Cape Town next to each other. So that's the ICC Academy. If you want to see the visuals of that, do check that out on Sports Today. You can search the video.
Asia Cup 2022,
or ICC pitches, and I'm sure you'll get it. So that actually has pictures of how I explained they've got different pitches. That's where England went, and I know that England have gone there many times before their tours to the subcontinent. They do it. But what happens is, when you play on those pitches, they kind of give you an idea of how the pitches are going to be. But as soon as they can give you the kind of pitch that was available in Hyderabad, when you play on those Indian pitches, they'll give you a Hyderabad kind of pitch, which is dry and a slow turner. But for them, even now at ICC, they have not been able to prepare an Ahmedabad of 2021 or Indore of 2023. So no matter how much England may have practiced, they will not be ready for Indore or Ahmedabad. Result could still go anywhere. I'm just saying, in terms of the preparation, they still came prepared for a slow turner. I know that I was reading some interviews. Ollie Pope spoke about how in UAE they did various other things. I think they
laid sawdust all around the entire
thing. They did sawdust, made it dry, and he tried those reverse hits and switch hits and all of that multiple times to figure out the angles. Which angle to hit, if the field placement. So they came prepared with all of that. Can they play that same kind of cricket in that minefield of a pitch that you prepare? Maybe not, because that sort of a preparation you didn't have. India, on the other hand, has had slightly more experience in playing in those pitches. Rohit Sharma per se has mastered the art of getting runs on those minefields. I don't know how many England players are. For all you know, at the end of the day, you still might say England's won it. Let's say the baseball works and their switch hits work, even on a minefield. That's another thing. But you'll have to throw the dice. You'll have to take a chance. Because now if you go with a similar slow, dry turner, England with the confidence that they have. So even if they came with any sort of self-doubts,
it's gone now.
It's all gone. Now you give them this pitch, all of them are going to play, or at least try and attempt to play like Ollie Pope. May not everyone would be successful, but each inning, if you get 1 or 2 guys to do it, I think that's good enough. Now all of them will attempt it. I think you need to go, you have to change.
But every spinner that comes nowadays, Australia showed it. Any spinner who comes can trouble this Indian batting lineup.
You're referring to Steve O'Keefe?
I'm referring to Steve O'Keefe of 2017. I'm referring to Matthew Kuhneman, Todd Murphy, Nathan Lyon. Of course,
Jason Krejci.
Nathan Lyon is a different caliber altogether. Krejci, but he got hit for runs also. 12 for 358.
Yeah, that's still fine. He was getting you wickets.
He was getting you wickets. But look at who we have made heroes in this England team. Root is an established spinner, so he'll be a threat. But you've made Tom Hartley like Rangana Herath. You've made him. And now he's not looking back from it. He's going to go from strength to strength now.
Did you see those visuals of him partying on,
Yeah,
on the table?
It's an old story. It's an old one with the Bami Ahmed shed. He's dancing on the table. And
So it's not after
No.
It's an old video.
It's a 7-year-old video or something.
Yeah.
It's not a new video.
His hairstyle looked vaguely
Exactly,
different.
yeah,
That is why I was
yeah.
wondering.
So you knew.
Yeah.
But I did not read any caption. I did see that
It's an
video.
old
I
video.
thought maybe right after that Hyderabad win, he went to one of the pubs in
It's an old
Hyderabad.
video. It's an old one.
So a Tom Hartley, Joe Root, plus you may have a Shoaib Bashir coming in. Who knows? With his height and with his ability to grip and get a prodigious turn, why would you want to risk a total minefield of a wicket?
To make things worse, by the way, everything I've been reading from the England camp suggests they are prepared even for a rank turner.
Yeah.
Baz is saying we'll play 4 spinners, although 4 spinners seems unlikely given Leach, by the way, hasn't been training very well.
Yeah.
He's in fact spent most of training getting treatment.
He can get a 4th spinner, Ollie Robinson. Robinson can be used to be an off spinner rather than a pacer. He did bowl off spin for about a 5 to 8 over spell in Australia.
They already have 4 spinner, even if Leach doesn't play.
Yeah.
Bashir comes in.
Bashir
so
comes
those are the 3 spinners: Rehan, Bashir, as well as
Hartley.
And then the 4th is Root. So they already have 4
He
spinners.
went 5 spinners.
5 spinners.
So you should
Four
say 5.
out
He said
and out.
4.
Four
He
out
meant
and out.
4
Yeah.
proper spinners plus.
What is proper? He is saying Root is not a proper spinner.
I agree with him.
He himself is saying Root.
In baseball England, he is your go-to spinner.
No, so-
He's your best second choice spinner.
Yes.
Then already 4 spinners. Don't
After
say
a
they
Hartley
can-
second innings now.
Yes.
You
So
can't
not
say.
just that, also now Ben Fowkes of all people has spoken out, and he's also said that in 2021 when we came and we saw that pitch change, our first thought at that point was, listen, we just need to hang in there. It's the
Yeah.
only thing you can do. And by his own admission, he's saying those are one of the worst pitches I've played Test matches in. Thereafter, he said, but this time around we've come with a mentality that look, if it's going to be a spinning track, then we'll just look to play our game anyway. Try and get the pressure back on the bowler rather than, because I mean it's something we've often said, right? If you play defensively or if you play attackingly, you're going to get 30 balls. What do?
No, but I tell you what, it's easier said than done. And what do you expect? Just as you don't expect Vikram Rathod to come out and really even tell you if he knew about the pitch, which is okay, fair, gamesmanship. Similarly, if you ask England that you're going to get a turning track in this baseball era, they're not going to say, oh, we're spooked.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to say, no, we are prepared, whatever, we are going to hit, we will play their shot. And for all you know, they will play their shots.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the chances of their baseball succeeding in those pitches is very low compared to if you give them the traditional old Indian pitches. There, I think they will on most occasions get you a lot of runs. I do not think that right now you have an Anil Kumble that can run through sides with just doing, or even a Harbhajan Singh with just toiling hard. I know Ashwin has done, Ravindra Jadeja has done, but they've always relied on some sort of pitch, and that's the biggest argument, right, that you have in Indian cricket. Harbhajan Singh quite often has come out in the past and said that I wish I had those kind
Those
of pitches.
pitches,
right?
yeah.
I'm not getting into that debate, and I think Ashwin is GOAT and Ravindra Jadeja is close to GOAT as well. Outstanding.
Yeah.
And they can only perform in the condition that they get. So let's not grudge them that. But I'm saying if you get those flat tracks, there is a chance. They will still get wickets. There is a chance that you get big totals, the 140s, 50s, 80s, like Olipo from somebody else also. And then can you win? Maybe not. So you're allowing England to be somewhere close to you. Vis-a-vis Gadda, I think you will start off as an thank you so much, Saransh. You're not married, otherwise I would have said आपके
बच्चे जीते
बच्चे
रहे
जिए
You can say full of hello.
फूलो फलो
Follow.
है ना, something like that. I could have. Thank you. I so needed it. I was almost falling asleep. I have driven 2 hours.
Yikes.
You know the traffic situation outside.
It is terrible with this rain.
Considering where you were coming from.
Exactly.
And today with the rain,
Yeah.
it is crazy.
We were out having lunch and that's when it started to rain, and that's exactly the conversation we have. What about our folks who are coming all the way from Gurgaon? It's easily increased their travel time by good 40 minutes.
And I tell you that it is going to get progressively worse. I mean, I think we left at 3:30 was the right time. Had I left at 4:50,
You wouldn't have made it.
I wouldn't have made it. It's getting worse. And two things now: rain, which anyway delays you. Added that it was a long weekend, so people are now all going back to work. So extra traffic because of work. And thirdly, now with fog setting in, multiple things are adding on to it. It is going to be
even today morning, zero visibility.
It was bad. The fog felt like I was entering my house if I opened my balcony door.
Yeah, it was bad, terrible.
It is an
That's why
apocalypse right now.
it is.
Stay indoors. Delhi NCR. Apparently, it would have already snowed or is going to snow.
It has.
It has.
It
Wow.
snowed 2 days back in Jammu.
The coldest.
But today it was going to be in lower
Wow.
lying areas also.
Gulmarg, Kashmir will become fresh snow.
Exactly.
No, today you will get like Himachal and Uttarakhand, which haven't got. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
not
Was expected. This
those kind of
this
places, like
spell of
Nainitals and Manalis and Shimlas also will get, which they have.
The coldest January in 13 years.
and the most polluted.
Polluted. Yeah.
And longest journey.
No test match in the north of India.
Thankfully.
England would feel at home.
Yeah, they would.
In this group.
But yeah, the only test match up north is March.
Dharamshala.
But I think even that time, your
Oh,
winter
yeah,
is
it
going
is.
to
Oh,
extend.
boy.
But it's not going to be as chilly as it is right now.
I think it will be.
What date is it?
7th to 11th.
You still.
It will
Boy.
You're getting into the first
But
week
can I
of
tell you-
February now. It's going to clear out by then to
No,
some degree.
Everything is delayed by 1
Winter
month.
has moved a month later.
Yes.
Now, if you realize, February is the coldest now in north of India.
Yeah.
And you get snow. I remember last year and last year also.
Yes.
Snow comes in Feb, so it's the coldest. And March it will start to go. But remember, you're
Towards
playing in
March
Dharamshala.
end.
So I'm not talking about Delhi, maybe Dharamshala. The only advantage is, can I tell you, unlike North Indian plains, where in those peak winter months days are very cold because no sun comes. The good thing up in the hills is the bright sun. So daytime is nice, and if you're in the sun, which you mostly get, there's no pollution or fog there.
Exactly.
So you'll get sun daytime. But when they finish the last overs, and when they after the sunset, when they go to their rooms, then it's going to be mighty cold.
Mighty cold, yes.
I mean, it'll be mighty cold, no light, potential rain. Sounds a lot like England.
No, they'll have light. Oh, light as in, हमारे यहाँ तो electricity.
Not talking about electricity.
No, that is a problem today in Delhi NCR also.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, lots of power, especially here.
That's been happening here.
Face those cuts here as well.
Lots.
By the way, we have exclusive stuff for you guys, like big breaking exclusive stuff. I will tell Pawan now. Are we ready, Pawan, to show them the exclusive pictures of Vizag pitch? We have managed to do that. And will you cut to it? Yes. That's the first one that one of our folks on Twitter has put out. So this is Nishant, who has said Vizag pitch is already ready. This is Nishant on X. Okay, so one picture courtesy Nishant. Any more?
Yes. Yeah, lots.
Yeah, we've got 2-3 different angles. Okay.
Oh.
So there's another one by Mohit. He says leaked image of Vizag page. You can see the dust.
That's not me, guys.
It's like a sandstorm out
There's
there.
Mohit. Mohit says.
I know. Oh my goodness.
So we've got another image. And then we've got one more from Akshit on Twitter. He's put, this seems like a picture from the moon, the crater.
Yeah, those craters. Yeah.
You may lose your keys inside those cracks, I think. If you, I like how Tony Gregg lost his in one of the pitch reports at Perth. He was doing it. Oops, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, Perth used to have some big cracks.
Oh,
The Waka.
One more. I think we have got lots more.
We got more different angles. This is another angle.
This is
Slightly wider angle.
Oh,
This is from Samir Arana.
Look at.
His name is Hitman Cricket at Hitman Cricket.
Uh-oh.
So this would be a very authentic image.
Yeah.
Look at the pebbles inside the cracks here. My God.
Day one.
that's day one also.
And he's saying day one.
Yeah.
Because Tariq Laskar had said day 5.
What do you think?
And Samir Alana said no,
Oof,
this is day
look at
1.
those pebbles here.
Okay.
Inside the crack.
Any more? One more we've got. Various angles. This is Amey. Amey has put. This seems to be an old air strip, right?
Yeah.
Seems to be like that.
Looks a bit like it.
World War में plane यहीं से जाते थे.
Like Saransh is telling us, World War II, the plane must be taking off. But thank you so much,
Excess
guys.
watering of the pitch.
Whoever has put this out on social media, good humor. Thank you so much. Allowed us to laugh a bit too.
Good guesses, I would say.
Today, Shashwat
Wait
is
till
not.
tomorrow.
See, these guys are just showing us pictures. Shashwat would have told us the preparation, how they are being prepared.
The alchemy behind it.
Yeah.
Turning it into gold. Gold dust in
This is
particular.
the opposite. You're turning gold into lead.
Lead, I know. Alchemist. The dark alchemist.
How the stadium at the moment would have turned into a laboratory after that result. So they're doing everything now.
To be fair, I will say this: Hyderabad, and I'm standing by it. They
One more.
That's the curator.
Shubh has put Vizag pitch curator spotted.
He's taken inspiration from certain individuals in 1999.
Any more exclusive images? Okay, done. Sorry, Shane, you were saying
I'm
something.
saying they tried doing something similar in Hyderabad. Okay, that strip at the good length being extra dark, etc. They weren't trying to prepare a sporting pitch. It was as much chance as it was anything else.
Actually, that's a good point because again, it's not an exact science. You don't know what you were attempting to do and what turns up.
Yep.
And actually, sometimes if you hear like what these people talk about, it sounds like a Betty Crocker recipe. Put this much water, flatten it out, allow it to dry. Like I'm not sure if you're making a pitch or baking a cake.
7 layers, fourth one should be this rock.
Man, oh man.
What else did Vikram Rathore say?
Vikram Rathore also spoke about Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer's form.
Oh.
Okay.
Stated that, see, mentally they are doing all the things right. In practice, they seem to be in a good space. It's just one good knock for them. But then everybody's been through a lean patch. So you just have to take it. Mentally, they are there in the right space there. So we are not going to put any pressure on them. Let them just continue with the process that they said. And on Patidar and you may say Sarfaraz, will both of them play? Will either of them play? The standard dialogue, Oscar winning dialogue, Rohit and Rahul will take the decision on toss time.
Obviously.
So nothing more.
Nothing more.
Nothing more. So these are images. Interesting. Bami Ami has put out images of Joe Root.
Batting left-handed.
Yeah, batting left-handed.
He did it in Pakistan.
Him batting left-handed and then switching to right should be cheating, right? Because he's technically a right-hander anyway.
Oh, then
Do whatever you want, but if you had to play a sweep, which is a conventional right-hander sweep, you didn't need to stand like a left-hander.
Exactly.
But this is Root doing it. Sunil Gavaskar did it.
Yes.
By a left-hander in a Ranji Trophy match, or the ball was turning square.
Didn't he do it even in
Bangalore also.
That 87
that
test.
final test where also it was turning square and
96 of the finest runs that he could hit.
yeah, batted lefty. So
Look at that patch there where the net part is. Suspect that might be what our pitch looks like.
Oh, that one.
but look at the mountains in Vizag. It's one of the most prettiest places in India.
It is.
Beautiful.
And
the ocean and the mountains.
And
next
especially
to
the
each
way to the stadium is so picturesque. And
I haven't been to the stadium.
I covered the India-Sri Lanka ODI there once, and it is a very, very picturesque ground.
Wow.
Will Jimmy Anderson play?
Oh, good question. Now they're saying 4 spinners. Where? But I think if I was England, if I'm playing one fast bowler, which you should, because you really don't know how the pitch will play, you got to go Jimmy. He'll
Plus
start reverse
expert,
swinging.
Reverse swing. Especially what you saw from Bumrah, let's say. And he made Markwood look so ordinary. And we know that Markwood is never going to get that kind of reverse anyway, no matter where you bowl him. But Jimmy, the artist that he is.
Might bowl a few cutters also.
Yeah.
He did try the cutter, I
And
remember.
with the new ball, no, not for long, maybe a over or two,
If he
never
gets
know.
on swing, we know how susceptible
And
batters can be.
his last tours to the subcontinent, he's averaged under 25. And he's bowled with tremendous control. His economy rate is just under 2 on these kind of
I
roads.
tell you, because you're playing in Vizag next to the ocean,
Yeah.
initially could get a bit of movement. Never know.
I mean, you have to play Jimmy. I mean, for the reverse swing that he gets, plus the cutters that he bowls, he can scuff up the old ball even better. And I think England have lost that art of reverse swing ever since Alistair Cook retired. Because remember, Alistair Cook would be the guy who could get that, because he had that very odd, problem, I may say, he never used to sweat. That was the one problem he was playing. He never used to sweat. That allowed the ball to be shiny, scuffed up on one side and fresh on the other side. So that's the time they lost the art of reverse swing. Otherwise, from 11 to 14, look at the way how Anderson got reverse swing in Australia. Of all places, Australia. Brilliant.
Can we take some savals? Because I'm sure, just as the users on X, our subscribers too would have lots of suggestions. Okay, Sharath Reddy from the US says, Ash is too good of a bowler to not get England batters out. I agree with you. He was able to crack Smith and Manas in Australia. It would be personal for him after first. Good point, Sharath. I also, knowing how competitive Ashwin is and how he's always trying to evolve, always trying to think of ways. In fact, if you saw, he started doing it in the second innings. Those funny run-ups that he came with a couple of times in bowl to see whether he's premeditated switch hits, then would come and then do extra couple of jumps.
Extra hops as well, exactly.
He would use the angles well. He would come wide and then would come close.
But this we've seen from Ashwin, let's say even when he would play, let's say limited overs cricket, especially the shortest format, he would delay his run up, just extend the arm a bit more just to see if the batters sort of advancing, sweeping, but
the other one he would do is bowl from 2 steps behind the stump.
Yeah.
He would do that also.
Yes.
From there on.
Or
he does everything. And you can't cross the line. So he
just start bowling
he's done everything.
Leg spin also. Leg spin also
He
bowled.
Leg spin at one point, I remember he started bowling with Sunil Narayan's action. There was a time when Sunil Narayan was getting
all off spinners were getting the whip. No, Shillingford, Williamson. Of course, it all started with Ajmal with that 42-degree flex.
42 degrees.
Yeah.
How
42.
How did you come to that conclusion? Exactly 42.
It was put out on many of the TV reports that were there at that time.
42.
42-degree flex.
48.
No, he did have a flex. It was quite visible.
He may as well have been trying to show his non-existent biceps. 42-degree flex.
Yeah, I mean.
But as the not a saying, but as is now kind of accepted in cricket, that you cannot bowl the doosra without flexing.
No, not possible.
But Saki never fell foul for that. Suckling.
No, not to that degree. But they have to have that.
Yeah, Murali, why was...
cannot. It's not possible.
Murali also...
Unless you come up with what Ashwin does, the carom ball. Then you don't need to. But that other way of, doing it, that way there.
Murali, that is why he fell foul. No to that. The ICC banned him from bowling the doosra. And the most criminal thing was that Sri Lanka cricket backed ICC. That was the most criminal thing that I did in Murali's.
If you saw when ICC started really coming down heavily on that, you remember there was a time when Harbhajan stopped bowling the doosra for a long time. He would then just bowl conventional off spin.
Yep.
Because as I said, it's not his. If you're trying to bowl the doosra, there will be a bit of
chuck.
In that sense, only 2 spinners stand out: Swan and Nathan Lyon. I think Lyon never bowls the doosra.
That's because neither did Swan.
Swan, yeah.
His would be the arm ball, the one that goes straight as a variation.
Brilliant.
But then of course he had such a wonderfully straight arm. If you're talking about aesthetically pleasing off spinners, I don't think anyone comes close.
Yeah. But then it took a toll on his elbow.
Of course it would.
Yeah. But that way, Lyon is a freak then, Nathan Lyon.
Lyon's action is a little more clean also.
Yeah. So that's why. But having not relied on any variation, bowling conventional off spin 500 plus wickets here.
That in Australia mostly.
From a situation where he had almost given up on cricket, become a curator.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oof.
Incredible story.
Seriously.
Okay. Singularity from the UK.
If a professional cricketer in India is asked to select 2 of the following 3 choices, which 2 he will mostly pick? Dream IPL deal, India T20 squad, or 3 India red ball squad? This will shape red ball future of India.
It's an interesting question which can only be answered by the cricketers themselves. But 2 choices, see again, also depends on cricketer to cricketer. I mean, let me take Virat Kohli for example. I think he's definitely going to choose number 3 as one of his 2 choices. Number 3 being Indian red ball squad and being a red ball legend. Because I think in Virat's case, it's not just lip service. He doesn't say, genuinely you can make out that admires Test cricket, and I know that is diminishing over the years. The generation that is coming, and as newer generations are coming, maybe the value that they put to Test cricket may not be the same. I agree, but again, it has to be player to player. You still had a Cheteshwar Pujara in this day and age, who said, "Come what may, doesn't happen. Whatever happens in white ball cricket, Test cricket, I have to. We've heard it from Rohit as well. He said that one of the biggest regrets that he may have done very well and may have had great returns in white ball cricket, but he himself wanted to do well in Test, primarily because his father wanted him to do well in that format. So I think that exists, but okay, just if you had to pick a wild guess and not player specific, but let's take a look at majority players. Which are the two things that they...
1 and 2.
100%.
No, I'm going 1 and 3.
I am also going 1 and 3.
Because, Indian T20 squad, some may want to be okay, I miss it. But give me a dream IPL deal and I'll play Test cricket also.
Yeah.
But that's like having your cake and eating it too.
Yeah, but
I mean, the Fab Four, they would ideally want 1 and 3.
I take 1 and 2 because again, I don't have to, really work hard that ways on my cricket, because again, my technique and everything, I play with hard hands. I need to keep sticking to the same process per se.
It's a wish that whatever you wish for comes true.
And also, the third option may not be monetarily lucrative as well.
Doesn't matter, but Test cricket is Test cricket. So it's your wish. I understand that you are presenting the difficulties on being successful in 1 and 3, which is fair. But I'm saying it's your wish. Wishes were horses.
But I think
That's what I mean. You can wish for anything.
Opt for a test debut or test team.
Not
Youngsters,
but because everyone looks for that,
yeah, but
Indian cap.
I agree, Saran, but does everyone look at it? I'm not.
See,
I'm sure some do.
Apart from Australia, England and India,
Saying that they want to play
they
test
won't.
cricket for India, test
Saying
cricket
and
for
really
India.
meaning it, do you
Yeah,
see it from
maybe.
their action?
See,
Why
apart
does it
from-
happen that you're not, all your fitness issues crop up around non-IPL time, during IPL everyone. I mean, there are certain things you have to see also. Saying is one thing, because no one will come out and say openly that, no. I mean, without, mincing my words, let me take MS Dhoni's example. It was quite evident that he did not rate Test cricket as much as he did white ball cricket.
Yeah.
It's evident in terms of his numbers, in terms of his captaincy. That's not to say that he disrespected Test cricket. He, whenever walked out, he gave his best, whether it was as a captain, whether it was as a wicketkeeper. In fact, I remember that 2011 England tour 4-0, everyone was getting injured, leaving, and I totally admired MS Dhoni. He stuck on. India were losing, everything was going against them, but he played throughout that tour, stood there with the team, continued his bowling changes. But I'm saying, it's not always disrespecting, but in terms of his priority, you could make out with his approach and how proactive he was in the two white ball formats that did not come across in Test. So, which is telling me inherently he took to white ball cricket like fish takes to water. That just came naturally. And Test cricket, as I said, he of course captained India with a lot of pride, gave his best, played some very crucial Test knocks as well. But you could make out that if he was to, he doesn't give a lot of interviews, but if you had to probably ask him to rank it, I think just based on the evidence of what we've seen, it could rank below T20 and ODI.
110%, because I think even his captaincy at times seemed very lacking in Test cricket. Whereas in white ball, he is an undoubted greatest
Greatest, the
captain
best.
India's ever produced.
Yeah, the best. Without
The fact that he could premeditate so many things, in his head already, and plan exactly how the situation would be, you sort of thought that, it wasn't quite there in Test cricket, that kind of foresight that he had in white ball cricket.
And that happens.
except at home. He dominated. Overseas, he struggled.
Yeah, but my point
Overseas
is,
was more reactive, let's say. He was reacting to situations. Here he was planning for things.
I'm saying I'm not even looking at result, but I'm saying it becomes evident in terms of how you approach a thing. And if you've covered cricket, you can make out sitting from outside, like what is the approach? Again, as I repeat, people will misconstrue it saying didn't care about Test cricket. Absolutely not. But I'm saying, it's like if we're sitting in a show and it's a talk show, which is very different to, let's say, making a reel, and amongst us, let's say one of us, let's say I don't enjoy a talk show, so you will make out. It's like I'll sit in the show, but my contribution and my concentration and the points that I come out may not be as much, which will inherently, maybe I'll come out with some fantastic reels, better than all three of you. But maybe because I enjoy that short form storytelling better, so I make my reel. And how does that happen? Because if you genuinely enjoy something, it just shows. And in that's what I'm saying. That's my only reference point or how I'm judging. It's not to say that if he's a Test captain, he's not going to give his best. He's going to give a right arm and a leg to succeed or win a series, which he did also in New Zealand, for example.
And drew a series in South Africa.
Yeah, So he would, but I'm saying in terms of that pecking order of where
it would be low.
would be low.
But then I would also add that points number 1 and 3 is valid only for 3 nations: India, England, and Australia. That's it. The remainder of the teams, look at the likes of New Zealand, South Africa, Sri Lanka, West Indies, they're all on the outer fringes. Bangladesh also. When was the last time each of them played a 4-test series? You have to go back decades.
No, but true, but Siddharth, that is more reflective of how the boards are viewing it. Because boards are looking at money, like South Africa did. I just want to
SC20, yeah.
But I'm saying this is a question regarding the players. Maybe the South African players are still very keen to play that. Yeah, just that they don't get those kind of contracts. They're not, because England offers Test cricketer that kind of money. Australia offers, India offers. So the Indian cricketers are keen. From a player's perspective, how do we know that is diminished?
Maybe T20 league. See, who are the most number of players who come apart from the big 3? I mean, who are the other major nations that they come from? South Africa and New Zealand.
You take big 3 out and you name 2 more. That's the cricketing world.
Yeah.
But they're not prioritizing Test cricket that
3
much.
and 2, 5 is
WTC
done.
are 9 teams.
That is your cricketing universe.
WTC has 9 teams in total.
That's why I'm saying, no, 3, let's put them aside. 2, you give more name. 5 is your cricketing universe. Done. It's done.
It's done.
There is nobody
And
left.
only India, England, and Australia play 5 tests or more.
And that's what I'm saying. West Indies is your other nation, and there you know the evident, obvious reason. The board is in shambles and tatters. And most of the best players decide, no, then you may as well just make some money out of it. And if you're talking about, see, younger players today, like say for instance, I'll give an example. Shreyas Iyer is someone who up until very recently was one of your sure shot starters in Test. Now you may say he's hanging on to his place by a thread, but he was a pretty sure shot starter, at least in home conditions. He's the same guy who was willing to walk away from his IPL franchise because he wanted IPL captaincy in another franchise, whichever franchise it may be. My point is, priorities have changed. And that is okay. I'm not judging. At the end of the day, I mean, if I were in that situation, I too would want to play as little cricket as possible and make as much money out of it. But again, I'm not a pro cricketer, so I don't know. I'm just saying, it's very easy for us to say, oh, they should play for the romance. But I mean,
because if you look at it, there's a domino effect now. West Indies started it all. England started the club versus country debate, and it's been going on ever since. Now, if you're looking at it, South Africa have made it blatantly obvious.
no, even India for that matter, you have a dedicated window for the IPL. Sure, you're prioritizing Test cricket, but your domestic system is in shambles, and your talent pool is drawn exclusively from your T20 league. So,
That's the problem.
Okay, Pranit Datta. Gill should play with a free mind. He uses his feet well against spin. He looked good in the second innings in South Africa when he came out with positive. Completely agree.
Agreed.
Anyone? Yeah, he should. But the problem is that for that, you need to sit him down, assure him of his spot, and maybe tell him.
Or send him to the England dressing room. They seem to fill people's minds like crazy.
Yeah, they do. They've mastered that art. Why we?
Isn't it time some seniors retire from at least one format to give secure spots to India A players, not taking names, instead of just clinging on?
I'll just tell you why we. I'll just tell you one thing. I've seen this in Indian cricket. Whoever is on the bench is God's gift to cricket.
Yeah, it is.
Whoever is on the bench. I'll just tell you, right now, let's say Virat is not there, he's pulled out. Everyone is going after Rohit Sharma. Virat Kohli was captain at that time, some things would go wrong. Everyone would go after Virat Kohli, that why are you not making Rohit the captain? Now, everyone wanted, when India is not doing Sarfraz, Patidar, when are they going to play? God forbid, they come and play this test match and do not get runs. You know what will be the narrative? Yaar, ye koi IPL ke players test matches ke liye?
Yes.
These IPL guys are new, they cannot play test cricket. You can pick these Patidars, they've got 100 in IPL, does not mean they can play test. This will happen. So the thing is that anyone who sits outside is God's gift to cricket. That's by inherent our nature.
Yes.
As Indians, I'm not making a generic sweeping statement, but by and large, this is our approach. Whether it is in terms of analysis, whether it is in terms of social media, I see it. And then whoever is on the bench is greatest guy. The one who's playing and not feeling is the worst choice ever that you are picking. So it will happen.
When the three senior players, when there was no KL, no Rohit, and no Kohli in T20 eyes, then suddenly there was so much clamour for all of them. But when you lost that T20 World Cup semi-final in 2022, I remember a lot of the seniors
Yeah.
were saying maybe it's time to move past the seniors. So
I'll just give you that same thing when I said no. Now why I'm saying who's out, because right till now Sarfraz, Patidar weren't there, so the whole clamor was bring them in India. Why are you not looking? Now they've come. Now assuming they play, as I said, they won't be successful. The next step is useless. These IPL players, they are spoiled. They play white ball. They cannot do it. Then what will happen? Are Cheteshwar Pujara on one leg is better than Sarfraz and Patidar put together. Bring out so that will happen. The same Cheteshwar Pujara few months ago say enough, yaar. How much you going to? So that is a
vicious cycle. That's what's happening.
problem.
Cheteshwar Pujara is happily scoring his hundreds and double hundreds, which he's been doing, which it's like clockwork. Cheteshwar Pujara producing hundreds in Ranji Trophy in domestic cricket is nothing new. He went and performed in the county as well.
Yeah.
But then you made a call,
That day India lost the test match, both Pujara and Rahani's name were trending on Twitter. Bring back Pujara, bring back Rahani.
And the same names were trending on Twitter a few months ago when they're not getting runs. After WTC, drop them, enough. We change.
Yeah.
We change. We live in the present. Public memory is short.
Yeah.
And nothing succeeds like success at that moment.
But we've got to admit that just as the cricket fan, the board's also fickle at times. You decided to move on from a Pujara and Rahane in the longest format. Okay, you're sticking to it right now. But you were made to, and you made the entire nation believe that you'd moved on from a couple of senior players.
No, I think that
after
was
the 2022.
Ashwin, I think the board that way has been far more permanent. I think there was a one-off because of WTC. But since then they've
But
not.
now what about this? The T20 World Cup. Now you.
No, but T20 World Cup, we never knew. See, there was an assumption that they won't.
But 1 year is a long time.
No, but it's an assumption. No, because Rohit came and said that, boss, we are not playing ourselves. Because it's not a T20. We don't know. It would have been interesting had the board come out and said we're not looking at that.
But
then gone back.
They were never going to say that. We knew. But 12, 14 months and you giving all those young players the time. Again, it would have been the same
because
thing.
Rohit, Virat weren't making themselves available. That's what I'm trying to say. They came out and said it much before. Rohit Sharma said it from the US only when he had gone there.
Yes.
He said, you guys are talking union team, but we are not playing. We have asked, this is a T20. We don't know.
And it will be
But
interesting
we don't
to
know.
play World Cup in the same country next year.
Yeah, he said that. But this was much before the team is selected.
I remember this was during the West Indies
it was an
series.
assumption on our part. They've looked. I'm saying the board for this moment has stuck to the stance that they have moved forward. See, they did it with, let's say, Ridhiman Saha also told him moving forward, didn't go back. Even though KS Bharat didn't perform, they've said that they've gone ahead. Rohit Sharma has said that this is a tough time. You're having a churning, a transition, as it happens with most countries. So they've accepted that now the churn has begun. You have to find now whether it's a Rajat Patidar, Sarfaraz, whoever, or a Shreyas comes back into form. We don't know, but they pretty much now told you that they're not going back. You like it or not? If they were to go back from here, then
all these ingredients are really coming together to add one thing: disaster. You have destroyed your domestic structure, okay? With the kind of pitches you're preparing in India, you have destroyed their strengths. Third, mentally you're at your lowest ebb ever, and that is the most worrying part. For 10 years, you've been at your lowest ebb mentally, and there's no way you can recover from this. Because what is my strength? You ask, no, what is the strength? You all ask that question. I don't know my strength anymore. Can I perform well in flat decks, but my opponent will score better? We are getting psyched into that.
You don't know the strength of the Indian team also doesn't.
The Indian team only doesn't know. You have prepared ranked turners ever since post-COVID. And now you don't know your own team's strength.
I mean, previously you'd always say India was the land of batters, right? So your batting was always your strength. Yeah. I can't say that with conviction about this current batting lineup.
WTC, one stat I'll never forget in the final. Your top 4 Australian batters averaged north of 50. Our Indian batters just averaged just over 30. Enough said. That was where you lost the battle. And producing all these kind of result-oriented wickets, and if you are looking at an Australia-India WTC final, start praying now, go on a 40-day fast, because you're playing in Lords, where Australia have lost only twice in 91 years.
40-day fast, how will that help?
I mean, a miracle?
God will help.
God will help you. Because Australia has lost only twice at Lords in 91 years.
Or drink just coconut water.
I don't know, a lot of people in boards times and all, they'd be like, mandir jayenge ek mahina and ye chadayenge.
Yes.
Shockingly, it didn't really help them that much.
It never.
Whoever studied, pass.
No,
Wouldn't.
couldn't.
Like
I mean, there was a scene in that popular film, no, where they would offer
PK.
Three Idiots.
हाँ,
Exam से पहले we would do.
स्वाति और पूजा को बहन की नजरों से देखते
no, PK also there's a scene. I think Amir Khan puts one.
Yeah.
When the exam is happening and money comes.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and students, instead of heading into the exam hall, would first come there.
Put a stone and then rub the pan patta on this, and then people start praying.
And bring money.
Yeah.
Board में pass.
Do all these things.
Okay, Sharat Reddy, who had given us the 3 option, says, but Hardik Bhai chooses option 1 twice, option 2 only if captain.
He's actually nailed it.
Damn, Sharat, you've been too harsh here.
Very naughty. Very naughty.
Too right. It's not Hardik's fault.
Well, he did get option 1 twice.
Yeah.
Only if that.
But still.
I mean,
Sweating.
And again, I have to put it into perspective. IPL, the way they traded it was fairly new. But if you watch football, you know it works. The problem is, I've never seen a case wherein a player leaves the club and then the club so aggressively pursues him and then convinces him to come back. So it's a rare thing. It's like, chose option 1
Any
twice.
footballer, if you can think of, that has happened?
No, very rare.
Ronaldo went back to United.
And then left after 1 year after
Yeah.
becoming
But
manager.
But
even that there's a lot of backstory to that. No?
Yeah.
City wanted
City
to sign
wanted-
him, and United thought it would be too much of a slap in the face to let a certified legend go to City.
Ferguson saying, I'd rather have my eyes gouged out and all of that, all of that happened, yeah.
Oh my
It
God.
also threw their entire team composition off whack.
Yeah.
Because you signed a promising young winger, then you signed Ronaldo. The promising young winger doesn't get game time.
It all worked fine the first season, but yeah, next season when you're looking at it
Fine,
going,
fine.
yeah,
I can't.
you got a couple of trophies that year.
One
So
trophy.
yeah.
Well, are we counting the FA Cup?
Community
Shield.
Or not? It doesn't count officially, so that's not.
Well, you asked this, so it's the same logic,
Even Mourinho says it, Pep says it. I
like
know.
the Indian team will hang on to and cling on to the Asia Cup now that you have nothing to show for.
Can I say something though? The Asia Cup is actually an official trophy. The Community Shield is.
Actually, it's just a charity. This thing, yeah.
It's called the Charity Shield.
Charity Shield.
Anyway.
Like Makka and Tini, it's a charity game. It is a charity game. Pranit Datta, I'm a huge fan of Patidar, a rare talent.
I hope he is.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, we need some batting bench strength desperately.
Yeah.
2 batters gone and you're threadbare. So yeah, it's a problem.
Okay, just take few comments. Maybe you don't have to answer because I have a phone to. Okay, Akbar Rauf says England to go 2-0 up. Agree, guys?
If that happens, dear God,
No, quickly go prediction.
No.
could happen. Yeah, I'll stick my neck out.
Yeah, even I'm saying no. I think it'll be 1-1.
1-1, yeah.
Okay. Piyush Nandre says make Hardik test captain. He will bowl 30 overs in innings. All of you are very, very naughty.
I know.
Very going after him. Okay. Let's take Fit Monk's comment before we wind up. He says if there will be a rank turner in Vizag, what if the English
Team pulls off a win there as well. So how about the remaining 3 wickets? Then we should just give them green tops. Variety is important. He says.
To be fair, they have 3
Everyone's
pictures.
just in that mode.
See, your only chance of a green top is Dharamshala. So, Rajkot and Ranchi, forget it.
No, you'll have to do all. You'll have to do the. So if you give first, which is a slow turner, does not work, then you give a rank turner. Does not work, then you give Ahmedabad.
Featherbed.
Does not work, then
Green
doesn't
top.
matter.
Green top.
Series is done.
Then you give a green top.
Yeah.
And then to end things, give Gabba.
Everything
you've given.
Baby green
No.
bounce.
Make a
Let's
pitch which
prepare
is
for-
half black soil, half red soil.
Yeah.
Ultimate confusion.
Let's start preparing for BGT.
Visit, yes.
Okay, guys, on that note, great fun having you around as always on another edition of the Dugout. We've gone close to 1 hour, but thank you so much for your company. Tomorrow will be the captain's press conference. We'll get to know England's 11, hopefully.
Yep.
So we'll put all of that out. Look forward to your company then. For the moment, bye-bye from all of us here on Sports Day. Subscribe if you haven't already. And bye-bye, Vadakkam, Nandri,
Nandri,
Shabba
Shubhratri.
Khair, Shubhratri,
Sat Sri Akal.
Eat your vegetables.
Yes.
Good night.